Whiter than white,
The radio station with more. You're listening to the radio station.
You're listening to.
You're listening to.
This is
Radio Biafra. Radio Biafra. Whiter than white,
The radio station with more. You're listening to the radio station.
You're listening to.
You're listening to.
This is
Radio Biafra. Radio Biafra.
Yes, wonderful Biafrans across the globe. Those who are Biafrans, if you know be Biafran, I can only wonder what you gain. If you know be Biafran, I can only wonder how you feel. This is Radio Biafra Extra for the avoidance of doubt, and we are streaming live through Radio Biafra London. Radio Biafra London is being anchored by the deputy leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. His name is Mazi Uche Okafo Mefo. He is from Abatete. Abatete is in Anambra State, and Anambra State is Biafra land. Mazi Uche Okafo Mefo is the man who has simply assured us that he will not allow the heart of this project to see corruption. And of course, there are truths in that words, and I do not expect you to understand the mindset behind those words. Mazi Uche Okafo Mefo is from Abatete. Abatete is in Anambra State, and Anambra State is Biafra land. He is standing in a deputizing capacity on behalf of our supreme leader, Mazen Nandi Okukano, the king of Afari Beku. He is the one and the only man who stood up to speak for the collective interests of the Biafran people for more than 60 years. Afari Beku is in Umuahia. Umuahia is in Abia State. Abia State is Biafra land. He is the director of Radio Biafra and Biafran Television. And by the grace of Chukwu Kika Biama, I am George Onyibe. I come from Abo. Abo is in Delta State, and Delta State is Biafra land. And of course, as always, we must acknowledge the Creator. His name is Chukwu Kika Biama. Without him, we are gone as a people. He is the one who has set our feet upon this path that we must follow. For we do not lift up our eyes to the hills nor to the mountain. We don't lift up our eyes to Yoruba, Hausa, or Fulani. We do not lift up our eye to British government or Sabo. We don't look up to any man or woman who think that without them we cannot do. We look up to Elohim and He alone. And that is why every day we make it clear to Him. And I will acknowledge Him before I proceed. I lift up my eyes to the hills, from where cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, He who made heaven and earth. I lift up my eyes to the hills, from where cometh my help. Our help comes from the Lord, He who made heaven and earth. For our God will keep us from all evil. He who made our lives, He who made heaven and earth. Imegi Chineke o. Kanyi nwa tụkwasị olileanya anyị eze. Imegi Chineke o. Kanyi nwa tụkwasị olileanya anyị o. Onye nwe anyị. Agbabago m ụlọ gị. Ekwela ka ihere mee m. Ekwela ka ndị ụwa jụ m. Kelebe ka chi gị n'ọgbọ o. Anyị na-aja gị mma o, maka n'eziokwu n'ịbụ sọ mma ịhụnanya na gị obiọma gị o juru anya anya dadị o, ịmakwa n'inwe gị mgbanwe o, ọ dịghị onye dị ka gị, ịbụ Alfa na Omega. Anyị niile na-asị na n'ịdị mma o. Ise. And of course, on this segment, our team remained back to your root. Back to your root. You can't be fighting to restore Biafra where you hate your ancestors. Because this is the land of your ancestors. Biafra is the land of our ancestors. If you hate your ancestors and you are a member of IPOB, you are fighting for freedom, you are hypocrites. If they are evil, leave their land. Of course, that is why most of you are not doing what you are supposed to do. Your ancestors are evil. Their land is not evil. The truth cannot be overemphasized. The time for anybody to deceive us is gone. The Bible says in the end days, knowledge shall be increased. Knowledge will increase. This will lead to the love of many. Wasking code. Knowledge will increase. Today, Yoruba cannot hide. Hausa cannot hide. Fulani cannot hide. Sabotua cannot hide. Governors in Biafra land cannot hide. Nobody can hide. because knowledge has increased. And what is the end result? Terrorists cannot call themselves master again. American police, European police cannot kill black and hide again. The truth is out everywhere. You know the real devil is not black in color. No more lies. And you know what is going to lead to? It is going to lead to hatred. It is going to lead to iniquity. Iniquity will arise. Because I cannot see you putting poison in my food and I'm romancing you so that they say I'm disciplined man. Who discipline pay? You can imagine what we have gone through as a people. Nobody in Nigeria, whether Igbo, Hausa, Ijaw, Niger Delta, Niger, Urubu, Shekiri, whether Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, nobody has come out and set up a table of sincere discussion to talk about our plight. And then maybe when we come here, we are stereotyped to behave somehow. And they say they are good people, and they are 100 years later, they are still good people. What kind of good is that? We redefine situation. We redefine situation to serve the very purpose that it is meant for. Go back to your root. Go back to your root. Because everything we are fighting for can never make meaning to you until you go back to your root. Some people say, oh, Anna got more. Yes, Anna got more. Nihi na Chineke bo more. Anna got more. George Onyibe na got more. Chineke bo more. Oh, we are kind of gone. Well, is it juju? They are doing juju. Yes, I do juju. I do juju. Because if it is black man miracle, it's juju. If it's Oyibo man miracle, it becomes miraculous. Time for deceit is over. We want to know, who are these our ancestors? What did they do wrong? What did they do right? If you are not proud of them, who do you want to be proud of them? If we allow the enemy to keep telling the story of who our father is, they will train us to kill our mother. And this cannot happen. Not while we have the privilege to present this truth. I am under oath to serve Biafra. No other idiot, no other person. Only Biafra. And that we shall do till our time is up. It doesn't matter. You see, let me remind you, those of you killing people, when you kill somebody, he dies. He goes somewhere to wait for you. He would have become acquainted with that dispensation. Before you come, you will start from where you stop. That is just the beginning of this journey. But whatever we do in life, we ensure that those we are leaving behind will not be lost on the same track where we were lost. Back to your root. They told you your father is evil. All these years we have been praying, oh Lord, deliver me from a central cause. Deliver me from a central cause. You are delivering yourself from a central cause. Everything about your community is destroyed and taken by the enemy. Do you know that in the 80s and early 90s, that there were people coming from across Europe, coming to buy artifacts from our shrine, our evil shrine in Biafra land? Most of you don't know. In the 80s till early 90s, there were people coming from Europe across the world. They were coming to Biafra land. Some of them were looking for mercury. Mercury in those olden days war clock. Mercury in those TV, black and white that have door. They were looking for artifacts from our shrine. If you have such shrine in your community, go back and investigate. You will see all the people who are responsible for selling the artifact in our shrine. You will see that all of them are mad now. They are not normal. I beg, if you know anybody in your community who participated in selling artifacts from shrine, that juju shrine in our land, go and check all of them. You will see their life is not normal. Somebody said the Facebook is cracking. Please, I need confirmation so that I upgrade my stand for them. Mad Yoruba people on Facebook. Go and check all of them. As evil as what they have is, they are still coming to buy them because they can't steal it any longer. Go and ask them, what is the symbol of the Benin Empire doing in the museum in Britain? They make you feel, oh, it's evil, it's evil. No, our ancestors were not evil. Oh Lord, every ancestral curse. Oh Lord, every. When will you pray for ancestral blessing? Honestly, it pisses me off. Each time somebody say, let's pray for ancestral curse. I don't pray that prayer. My ancestors are not cursed. Nobody can curse them. When are we going to say pray for ancestral blessing? When are we going to, oh Lord, our central blessing? Are you telling me these people lived all their life, thousands of years after thousands of years, and they didn't do anything that can make God happy? Even Satan himself one time pleased God. Even Satan himself, according to the Bible, was one time in union with God. So what are we not saying here? But they properly indoctrinate you. Change your brain. All you remember is a central cause, a central cause. The amazing thing there is that the people asking you to deliver yourself from a central cause, they are the real cause. And some people came to Africa. For 400 years they rape. For 400 years they kidnap. For 400 years you were abused. For 400 years they murdered. As we are speaking, they are still on the same path. Just that they have upgraded their stand. They are not evil. God is not angry with them. Don't let me talk to do that God today. No, God is not happy. He's happy with a terrorist lugard. The condition we find ourselves in Nigeria today, somebody made it. God is happy with them. They are not praying for central cause. So wake up, brother. We must go back to our. It doesn't matter how you want to define it, but the people must know the truth. You know, some of you are very uncomfortable now because we want to talk about your ancestors. To you, they are evil, and we should consider them there. But to people like us, they can never be evil. According to Adamu Farouk, my Hausa friend, he said, if I see Hausa man eating another Hausa man leg, if I see Hausa eating another Nigerian man leg, I will not say he's bad, though. If I see my ancestors doing bad, me, I will not say it's bad, though. Now you know. On this segment, by the special grace of Chukwu Kikabiama, our topic is an art of worship. It's an art of service to humanity as demonstrated by our ancestors. A very long topic there anyway. An art of worship, which is an art of service to humanity as demonstrated by our ancestors. Our ancestors, who you think they are evil, had a way of worship. And their way of worship demonstrate a service to humanity. Our ancestors does not just go to church or mosque or shrine or whatever they worship to worship God. But they demonstrated their art of worship by rendering service to humanity. That is what our ancestors did. They call it evil because the message was presented in such a way that you think that they are evil. And so in this study, it is said that our ancestors worship idols, which is not why I am here tonight to defend them. I don't want to defend them, but to redirect our mind in order to be liberated from the burden of guilt. I'm not here to defend our ancestors if they worship idol. You don't even know the meaning of Pharisee. But I want to redirect your mind, that is my purpose, so you can be liberated from the burden of guilt. The Bible says if our heart does not condemn us, then we have peace with God. If your heart does not condemn you, you have peace with God. If I am having issue with anybody, if I am having challenge in any area of my life, and as a person I notice that I become afraid, I know there is problem. I will go back and pray. I will go back and commune to the Creator, my Creator in the spirit. I know something is wrong. But when I have issue with you, it doesn't matter who you are. The moment Obi catching me, the moment my mind strong, I know I am justified. I will not fear you. Let me teach you something a little bit so you understand the benefit of ancestors. It was one day I went out with my father. we were strolling. And we gone to a particular place. My father started searching his pocket. I was still a very young child. And he said, I have lost the house key. And I was looking at him. You can imagine maybe 6 years old son looking at the father. He lost the key. What do I have to say? And then after searching his pocket, he didn't see the key. He kept quiet. And then after some minutes, he said the key did not lose. We will see the key. I said, how did you know the key did not lose? How are you sure we are going to see the key? He said, because I did not feel bad about it. And my father started explaining to me that if by the time he noticed that that key is not with him, and he felt bad that he has lost something, he said he will not see that key again. But he didn't feel bad that he lost something. So we are going to see the key. So I followed him. We went to our normal strolling without bothering about the key. At the end of the day, we came back home. As we were opening the gate to enter our compound, we saw the key on the ground. So while he was locking the small gate, the key fell from him. The key was still there when we went out and we came back. And ever since then, I've been monitoring it. These are the things you benefit from our ancestors. So when we go to the farm, we know how it's going to be. We sense when there is danger there because we are connected to the earth itself. Because we are the children of the soil. From this earth he made us. We are still connected. But like I said, I am not here to defend them, but I want to deliver you from guilt. Why I brought that issue up is that as a Christian, you understand that until Satan is able to burden you down with guilt, which will open door for fear to captivate you, he cannot strike you. Satan has tried everything he can to frustrate Job, according to the Bible, but Job was not falling into his trap. And when he appeared before God and God said, have you seen that there is nobody like Job, a righteous man? A man who fear God and eschew evil. Satan said, you gave him this, you do this, you do that. And God said, then go and test Job. But don't touch his life. But Job actually failed that test. Because Job have harbored fear in his mind. And that is one day. Oh, if my children die now, what will happen? Hey, if I lose my wife now, what will happen? Oh, if my business. He was harboring this fear. And because of that, he continued praying to God. Forgive my children who have sinned against you. Forgive my houseboy. Forgive everybody. Oh, don't let this my fear come upon them. No, fear is a torment. Fear is a snare. And of course, if you understand what the Bible is telling you with a spiritual understanding, you will notice that the moment Job was struck by Satan, the first thing he said was, that which I fear has come upon me. And so in Biafra land, we fear no beggar. Now you understand. After all, fear simply means false evidence appearing real. They are fear, they are not real. They are false evidence. And so the enemy will make us to become afraid. The enemy will make us to be guilty of a sin we didn't commit. Now the moment you give in to it, he opened the spiritual portal for them to strike you. But as far as you cannot allow them to make you to be guilty, you see at the end of the day, they can only rigmarole around you. They will just be rounding you. They can't climb you. And now, what I'm bringing these things up is so you understand. The moment you believe your father is evil, you will suffer for their sin. My father is not evil. The moment you believe that, something here, our ancestors sin, they coming for you. The only sin of our ancestors is the worship of firewood. Are we not worshiping that firewood today, both in the mosque and both in the church? And then we have been praying how many years? That is not my ancestors. But of course, like I was saying, thank you, my comrade on Facebook. You people are doing wonderful work for me. I can assure you that anytime I come on air, I see most of you. I have a very big confidence to continue. You know, there are always Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani somewhere to come and Okwema. Oge mebu oge. Muchuku jangwere. Ekwensu abata, ogbagara abata. But let's continue anyway. An act of worship is an act of service to humanity as demonstrated by our ancestors. They made us understand this. Now, we look at the art of worship through the providence or benevolence of God by name calling. Let's look at an art of worship by our ancestors. The only thing they make you see that our ancestors did was evil. But this is how they worship. They worship God by name calling. Today we keep calling Chukwu Kike Abiyama. But a lot of people are battling with it. They say it's a name of deity. It's a name of Arose. But from my understanding, Chukwu is the big God. Okike is the creator. Abiyama, come closer and you will know me better. I don't see anything Arose there. Okay, maybe the Igbo dialect is the Arose. Let's stop there. They worship God through name calling. Our ancestors. Now, let's look at it. When you go to English church, managed by Yoruba Company, Different Church Limited in Nigeria, where Biafrans are being reconditioned, remodeled, rebranded, repositioned, reindoctrinated, so you don't have sense again. And when they say worship God, this is how we worship God. Oh, you are the rose. Oh, you are the lion. Oh my God, you are the toro. Oh, you look like the lily. Oh, it looks very sweet. You are diamond. Okay, let me sing the good song. Lord, you are more precious than silver. Although this one is not that one, because they are just trying to compare with him. But it's still it. Oh Lord, you are ram. Oh, you are ram. But they are trying to worship God, but they blaspheme. They are insulting God. I told somebody one day who was worshiping God, oh, you are the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Oh, you are the Ram of God. Oh, you are the Rose of Sharon. I say, my brother, can you worship God with that same melody in Igbo language? He said, why? I said, just try it. You will see you are insulting God. But when you are saying it in English, you think you are worshiping God. Let's follow so you understand who your ancestors are. Oh Lord, you are the Lamb of God. Number one, lamb. Oh Lord, you are the Rose of Sharon. Number two, rose. Oh Lord, you are the Lion of tribe of Judah. Number three, lion. 3 items you are calling God. Now let's bring these 3 items into Igbo language. And then you begin to convert it now to Igbo. Oh, Chineke nna ịbụ atụrụ. Chineke nna ịbụ anụ mpama. Chineke nna ịbụ osisi nọ n'ime ọhịa. Is that not what you are saying? If I lie, please, when the line opens, call me and say it's not true. When you say somebody is a lamb, in Igbo language, what does it mean? Nna ịbụkwa atụrụ. Wake up in the morning and look at your father and say, nna m ịbụ atụrụ. The slap you will receive, COVID-19 will catch up with you immediately. I want you to follow. Also, you understand that our ancestors, the art of worshiping God is an art of humanity. I'm just trying to create this scenario so you understand who they are. Our ancestors never called him Anompama. Lion is a bushmeat. And anytime you call God, your God a lion, you are reducing him. You call God a man, it's even an insult. You call God an angel, it's an insult. And then you are calling him, you are a tree in the forest. But our ancestors said to us, Odi onye yiri yao, Odi onye yiri yao, Iman odi onye yiri Chineke nke n'igwe o. Onwere onye a ga-eji ma ya tụsọ ya yiri ya o. Ọ dịghị onye yiri ya o. Ọ dịghị onye yiri ya o. Ịmakwa na ọ dịghị onye yiri Chineke nke n'igwe o. Onwere onye a ga-eji ma ya tụsọ ya yiri ya o. Now these are people who worship evil. They are the evil people. They told you your ancestors are evil. But they cannot do that. They will not reduce the creator to lamb. They can't reduce the creator to even man or angel. And now you understand. Our ancestors worship God in form of name calling. They call him the big name. They don't say he is those things. They call him the big name by what he does. If you go back to the ancient time from the Bible where men worship God according to the Bible, they call God by name. Some call him Elohim. Some call him El Shaddai. Some call him Jehovah Nissi, Rapha, Sikenu, Shalom, Shama. They call him different name. It was an act of worship. Let's come back a little bit in a Pentecostal style. In some song we say, Jehovah Shammah, Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Elohim, Jehovah Adonai. We give you glory, honor, power, majesty. You are the Lord forevermore. This is a Western way to worship God. Our ancestors did all these things. And then another one would say, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, Elohim and Adonai. Age to age you're still the same by the power of your name. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, Elohim and Adonai. Lord, I praise and lift you high. El Shaddai. These were people who worship God like our ancestors, because this is how our ancestors worship God. I want you to understand who your ancestors are. And then when we are fighting to restore the land of Biafra, and some people are fighting to take away the land of Biafra for you, you have no idea what is buried in the land of Biafra. The day Biafra will be restored, you people will understand why many countries in the world, their feet is on our neck to make sure Biafra is not restored. But you start by, first of all, love your ancestors before you love your neighbor. Now, our ancestors, when it comes to the art of worshiping God, this is how they worship him. Go and listen to that Ogomo, that native doctor. Go and listen to our ancestors who had no affiliation to any form of religion. There is a way they worship God. The same way you begin to hear. Okwagi bwe cheto ubiesike o. Okwagi bwike nja gaga o. Okwagi kewaru simiriye. Ime kwa nwanya ga koturu ime. Okwagi yo Chineke o. Oke miri na-egbu ogwe. Okwagi yo Chineke ma nebuchi. Isi ala gị nwe, isi ala gị nwe, isi ala gị nwe, isi ala gị nwe, isi ala gị nwe nwanne otu onye, isi ala gị nwe, isi ala gị nwe, onye jemonu, isi ala gị nwe, onye ajanyisi, isi ala gị nwe. They call him different names, different names. These were acts of worship, but believe me, it's not just a verbal expression. It was a way of their life. They call God name based on what he can do. And they worship him based on who he is. And now coming back to the second aspect of this study that I want us to focus on. It's that act of worship eventually become a service to humanity. Now, if we want to go to our Bible and looking at the book of Leviticus chapter 23 verse 22, where he talks about famine. Because I want you to understand that everything our ancestors did is all about famine. But before we go to the Bible, let us go back to our ancestors. Our ancestors managed a community where they breed humanity, a community where they care for humanity, a community where it is conducive for human to do well. Ebe beli ugo beli, onurube nwane ya agbaloso. Not vocal, but in truth, in sincerity, in honesty, truth, justice, and equity, fairness to everyone. Live and let's live. And one of the ways they made it possible, it is by worshiping God through the act of service to humanity. Now we go back to our culture and tradition. Famine. As a child, my parents normally takes me to the village during the holidays. The idea was for me to know my village, most especially as a first son. I need to know everything my father know. And so, if we have holiday of 1 month, they will make sure I spend 3 weeks in the village. And I will face one side to narrate this evening, and most of you must experience it. And when we get to the village, I notice that in the morning, as early as 4 or 5 o'clock, everybody is awoken. We have to trek about 3 to 4 kilometers from the home inside the forest where our farm is located. And if we leave by 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, we get to the farm around 6:30 or 7. It's a very long walk. But yes, they were my mates who trekked that distance to go to farm. And when we get to the farm, we have a house in the farm. We call it Ulubi. The first thing they do is to prepare food. We prepare to walk. We eat food, take our breakfast, and then we start walking. My uncle has a very large farm. There is no form of advanced farming tools or equipment available. We use the manual way. And then we walk from that morning till around 11, 12. We go to break. And when we get to the break period, we eat. And after we finish eating, we rest like 1 hour, we move in again. And once it's 4 in the evening, we start going back home. And then this is how the cycle will begin over and over. There are a lot of things that happen during this period. But I'm just trying to cut the long story short. Then I noticed that at the end of the farming season, we harvest everything in the farm. I remember in those days, my father would send his 911 to the village to go and bring in those food crops from the farm for them. So many yam, melon, cassava. And by the time they return all these crops after harvest, I noticed that they don't harvest all the crops. They don't harvest all the crops. They leave some. And then after they are conclusively agree that they have finished harvest, then the next day, my uncle or my cousins will say, let's go to the farm. And I will say, but we have finished harvesting everything. They say, no, they are going to set trap for rabbit or other animals. And I noticed that when we get to the farm, and we see some women, some children, most especially women and children, they are in our farm. They are harvesting the crops we didn't take. And so I begin to feel that it was a deliberate act, and which was rightfully so. So our ancestors don't harvest everything, because according to their culture and tradition, there are people in the village, widows and orphans, who cannot help themselves, so they deliberately leave those crops for them. And so in the place where I come from, they don't harvest everything. And the way God does it is that the next year after harvest, we don't farm on that land. Most especially when you have other places to farm. And so that farm of last year becomes something we call Ubo Echo. We call it Ubo Echo. I can't explain what it means in English. But this Ubo Echo, which is a last year farm, God does a miraculous thing there. It grows up with different crops. Pumpkin leaf, watermelon. It grows with water leaf. Different crops. Cassava grow. It will shock you. You will understand the adage that said that the cow that does not have tail is God that chase fly for them. The next year is not farm. We don't farm there. But when you come back, you will see yam growing. Every different crops growing. And the grass in those lands don't grow much. We call it tobacco, sugar cane, different things. And then I see my village people coming to take all those things. Nobody stopped them. And then until I grew up. And of course, as a reverend, each time I study the Bible, I compare it with my ancestors. So that if they made mistake, let me know how to beg God. And then I discovered in Leviticus 23 verse 22 that God actually told the children of Israel that at the end of the farming season, they should not harvest everything. They should leave some for orphans and widow. And then my ancestors that supposedly were evil, who told them? Is it Arose that told them? Is it Arose that told them to do that culture? And I know most of you, they do that in your village. So who told them now? So when you can't tell me our ancestors iPhone, not mine. Have you seen American condemn any of their European police anywhere in the world for killing black? I think this should be the first time. They even promote you the same way it is in Nigeria. Once you are a Nigerian police from Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, Igbo, just kill one IPOB member, you'll be promoted. Kill one Biafra youth, call him cultist or hoodlum, you'll be promoted. But let me not digress further. So who told our ancestors how to do that? Those from my village are listening. They are hearing what I'm saying, and they know I do not lie. And so what I'm trying to tell you in effect is that our ancestors at the end of the day don't just see worship as worshiping God, but they make it an act of humanity. And when you go to that farm and you listen to most of those widow and orphan trying to get something to eat from the farm that you deliberately left for them because of God, or that God made provision for them so they too can feed and not die, because even the Bible made us to understand that God even made provision for animal. That is when he say, do not muzzle the oxen that tills the ground. If he make provision to provide for cow, why wouldn't he make provision to provide for orphans and widow? And our ancestors acknowledge this. And I know one of those widows who was always very close to our farm. Just like the case of Ruth and Naomi in the Bible. And any time this woman come back from our Ugbo Echo, she has so much cassava. She sings so much song. One of them is Sonem Gogo Ihe Chuku Menimo Eronimeo Orejumobi Wo Osokamo Osolobwe Keni Mekele na Fansoyao Sonem Gogo Ihe Chuku Menimo Eronimeo Orejumobi Wo no sokamo Osolobwe Meni Mekele na Fansoyao. That widow, she will be singing this song. Help me rejoice for what the Lord has done for me. I never thought about it. My heart is full of joy. Rejoice, rejoice. The God that has done this for me, let his name be praised. And now, you see the act of kindness, which is a service to humanity as demonstrated by our ancestors, has put joy and worship in the mouth of the people to the Creator. Imagine if we live in that kind of society today. Imagine a society where a widow will not be going to flirt to take care of the children. Do you still have that in mind with all your church and everything you are doing, calling your ancestors evil? Do we have that provision today? Ordinary COVID-19. Nigeria has made money out of her citizens more than supporting them with palliatives. Is that not a shame? And anytime they talk bad about our ancestors, our Biafra ancestors, our heritage and culture, and you support them, you are evil and you are a hypocrite if you fight for Biafra restoration. And now you begin to understand. These were some of the things they did. You would not have known. Most of you would not have known, but now you know. They made provision for everybody. The people are not, they are not going to pay, how do they speak this grammar? The gratitude is for nobody. I come back and I say, Papa Okenkwo, thank you. We go to your last year farm, we saw many gari. You don't do that. It's not Papa Okenkwo's own. It's not Mama Okenkwo's own. I tell you, some farmers will deliberately leave a lot of foodstuff there. Their happiness is that in the evening when they look at their children are eating. They are satisfied that their neighbor who is a widow, that their own children are still eating. Today, do we have that kind of mindset? Do we have that kind of mindset? Some people are busy looking, where is Judge Onyibe eating money? Judge Onyibe is eating money. Nandekano is eating money. But you know I'm hungry. You know Judge Onyibe is hungry. You know Judge Onyibe is hungry. Your job is to monitor him. Hey, he's eating money. Don't you know at times you're supposed to throw the money for Judge Onyibe, let him chop it? Then after you are the one telling me your ancestors are evil. You see your brother is hungry. You are setting traps for him. And out of service, become a service to humanity. And so when our ancestors were actually worshiping God, it was based on what God can do. Those who made God as a God of justice, they call him according to the name. Those who see him as a God of giver, they worship him according to that name. Those who see him as a God of peace, they worship him according to that name. Those who see him as a God of war, they worship him after that name. And not until you understand why they worship him the way they worship him, you do not reserve the moral right to condemn the way they worship him. After all, you are not the creator. What am I saying, Biafrans? If all these institutions were still functional in our community as it were in the beginning, the enemy will not be able to do the nonsense they are doing in our land today. They won't. They won't. And when you come home, those of you in diaspora, in fact, those of you in the city, pay a visit to any village. Just tell them to take you inside the interior villages. You will weep. You will see what Nigeria has kept her populace. You will see what Nigeria has done to all of us. I have traveled from Biafra land to Duduwa land to Orewa land, remote villages. And I don't believe and I don't think that we are supposed to be in that stage. Even without the resources we have in Nigeria. But of course, Nigeria is actually designed to emasculate all of us. Financially, mentally, morally, and otherwise. You will see how people suffer. You will see the misery that confront them. And so our ancestors which worship God saw it as an act to service to humanity. Not an act to buy private jet. Those people are not evil. Why won't Muslim kill you? Why won't Fulani herdsmen ravage our village? Why wouldn't they be rugaring everywhere to take over our land? Why would they respect us? Because to you, your ancestors are evil, and you are their children, and as such, you should kill they should kill you. Biafrans, wake up. Biafrans, wake up. Biafrans, go back to your root. Imagine when Biafra is restored, and these principles are put in place. Imagine what a fellowship we will have as a people. Imagine the true love that will transcend from each and every one of us to another. Imagine when we raise our voice to worship Elohim, Chukwokika Biama. Imagine the miracle that will happen that day. I'll be back in a minute.
Feel the vibes. It's Mubaz on the beat.
Yes, Onunu Bingwani Abaloso should not just be a slogan to Biafran people. We are inching closer to time where all these cultures and tradition will be useful to all of us. Believe me. Believe me. Our lines are open at this moment. Our WhatsApp line is 070-815-45642. Our WhatsApp line is 070-815-45642. Our direct line is 081-221-52971. 081-221-52971 is our direct line, and the special number for the female is 081-288-58614. 081-288-58614 is our direct line. Yes, a caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from? Caller on the line. Good evening from here. Go ahead, please.
Daddy, Afambo in Makashia is in Ababo.
Go ahead.
Because, please permit me, let me sing what I will construct or come to all of Biafra.
Go ahead.
Biafra, Obodo Maramba Koledo. Agagima la chiga Nigeria, Agagima Burozo, Agagima la chiga Nigeria, Agagima Burozo, oh, Biafra, oh, Ana Biafra, Obodo Marama Koledo, Agagima la chiga Nigeria, Agagima Burozo. Agagima la chi Nigeria, Agagima Burozo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Daddy,
go ahead.
Topic let's go. Makane Tetalam Ogo, my father Nanto. My father died 1978. My father was a pagan. Mananezioku. Oko papa is on Ozo. My father I did out for Manama Gin Menacono. Okay, beginning of being, we look for your watching. Waiting a cook, Kikabiama. To tell after this teacher. No, I don't know, get a man, I don't get a man. On the top of when none may have. In the Kurumbu on. On my Tiffany or Wargy. They put on over the lady. One at a time. Or to be in a yard, they get us there. Nancy, a Canadian topic. Itri, Nakamaka, Manatra, Catalan or Garros. You can start at the table. When I say keep it on. Maki, if you don't do animal right in the Biafra, can we can now uphold the topic in the Yan watch. There's Yoku. Although I will get me, and not Biafra, Kenya fighter. We see Mazi Ndandekano, Bunukuna Yuku, and Nilo Yusa, or Hamadike one of the Biafran band. Bona. So I can be any negative one by one. Whether in a Biafra, I'd make the principal officers, Mazi, Uchemefo, and make an you could need. Nezioku, or more in the best speaker, you could see in the then an Mukuma Hadu. I think who did could lie. Manafenka took work. Navy came, Baggy women. Okatashi, eating a very deal of linen. It's so good in a hand. I tell them. How to Cassiana, other Abiabat again. One name, I think I think a good Dendi Biafranine. Didn't even one Adama. I need a garden dog. Work before man, I don't even. Now I have to go to Kabiama.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The first thing to recover in any form of recovering is recover yourself. You don't have faith in yourself. You don't believe in your father. What exactly are you doing? Biafrans must understand who they are. These were truth you run away from. Yes, do we have witches and wizards? Yes, we have witches and wizards. You compare them to do the right thing. Do we have evil people in the name of our bet? Yes, we have them. But our ancestors understand that the true art of worship is actually a means of an art to service of humanity. But the day humanity die, you lose everything. Call and WhatsApp, are you still there?
Good evening, Onyibe.
Go ahead, my brother.
My name is Simon. I'm calling from America, Spain. Back to your roots. Onyibe, you know this prayer of cursing your ancestors. I never prayed such prayer before because I saw good men, old men in my village. After the death of my mom, I never want to leave town anymore. I stayed home and I learned a lot of things. Our people are good people. I know my grandfather, the father of my dad. He taught me a lot. He's a good man. These men are the good people. They never do no man no wrong. So why would I be cursing them? This is what the foreign religion, foreign invaders teach our people. But forgive every one of you, because what you are doing now is more in what that people did that time in Hollywood, because he didn't know what the invaders, what they face. You can imagine what we are facing in this 21st century. If they tell you that you will be alive, all this slaughter, all this killing about us, all this slavery, all this impoverishment, all this hatred in this 21st century. Check about 1967. Very well. I know those days, due to hunger, or some people, like when you hear our leader say, when Arochukwu failed, a lot of things happen. There are still those who preserve themselves. We know who we are. I'm Chindefe. I'm Chin. We were told who we are. May we go back and research.
Thank you very
We
much.
are, even historically, biblically, those Bible most of you read. One day I will open the files and teach. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Onyibe, sign up from here.
Thank you, Mazi Simon. People must understand the truth, which cannot be overemphasized. Forget about the grammar. They are pagan, they are not pagan, they are uturuturu, they are not uturuturutu. What concerns me? I'm telling you what they did. Come and tell me how your ancestors killed your village people. But I don't blame you. You have been reconditioned. That is why when I see Nigerian people manifesting, it doesn't matter on the umbrella they have. I know them. And I have zero tolerance for them. We don't deceive ourselves. We don't pretend. I'm telling you, your father is not evil. You have to accept it. Or else you are the worst evil. Oyibo man was an armed robber. Armed robber who robbed the government, a state. They call him Robin Sherwood. He's a hero. He's a legend. Robin Sherwood. But he's an armed robber. Because he's Oyibo, he's an armed robber. There is this current fame, the money highs. You talk about professor, always able to anticipate, always able to improvise when necessary. I'm professor, you are a thief. Professor is a thief. He's Oyibo now, so he's not, he's a wise man. If you see Boma, she's a thief. Don't you have sense? Whatever our ancestors are, they are our ancestors. If we are better than them, it's just very little thing. Because we are who they really are. Stop running away from your responsibility. Forget about that grammar. It's hateful. He say, you enter iron. Iron will fly you to America. They call it aircraft. It is holy and angelic. All the whole pastors are buying it. But I climb plantain leaf now, and I go to America. Is it not the same fly? The one will enter plantain leaf, and the one will enter pipe. No be the same transit then follow. Then the black man own is witchcraft. It's evil. Then Oyibo man own iron is aircraft. It's good. Who they deceive who here? Who they deceive who here? Let's know who they really are. And then we go back and analyze and know. We are the one that will say the evil. Not somebody coming to tell you. Not you speaking from your subconscious mind. I gave you a simple example. That time you are calling Jesus Christ, oh, you are the rose, oh, you are the lion, you are the this one, ebonka, ebonka. Go to your father in the morning, knock at his door and he open. Look at him in the eye and say, Daddy, one on Pama. Cause when he go give you that day, COVID-19 will catch you. Or you look at him, God, my daddy, daddy, me watoro. What he will do to you, you will not recover. But yet we are doing that to God. Let us wake up. Let us wake up. All these things are killing us. All these things are killing us. When you catch Fulani now who have raped a girl of 4 years almost to death, you say, leave him for Jesus. Who the heck is that idiot? Leaving it for Jesus. And now you know why they continue lynching the black across the globe. And now you know why Fulani are still gallivanting everywhere in our land. Are you still there, my brother, on the line?
What's up?
Yes, Mazi Chibuike. Happy New Year. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Good evening, fellow Biafrans. My name is Tobi Manes. I'm coming from the state of Israel. Mazi, thank you very much for your topic this evening. There's this music you play on one album and also. Today, we are call ourselves believers. If your father is crying, if he's not going, I'm sure you're going. You will not even talk to him. You will leave him to die there. We say it's evil that is killing him. Our ancestors, they say, no matter where you live, where they live, when you hear the cry, not run. That is what our ancestors believe. But tell me any the terms you can quote today, it's not in the proverb of our ancestors. When you say "Beberu gobe," all of them are in the proverbs and in the Psalms. But what our leader used to say that I cannot forget, he said that if you did not grow up in the village, you might not understand what we are doing in Radio Biafra or in Biafra struggle. So it's a very big word there. Whatever we are doing used to refer back when we are growing up. And anybody that did not grow up in that village, they might sound it to him or her as a fairy tale. Recently, when I used to see people writing on their Facebook, Black Lives Matters, I used to tell them, when we're growing up, if you have a brother or an uncle who is strong man, nobody will beat you wherever you go. That is how it is in this world. If the black people can have a nation in Africa that is strong, nobody will mess up with a black man in other parts of the world. That is how it is. So back to our roots, come to stay, and we are listening to you every day. Though we might not be able to call, but we are listening. Thank you very much, Mazi.
Thank you, my brother. We must continue. Let me tell you how it works. Go and look at a video on how a European man, a world power man, is arresting a black kid like 14 years. You will understand that we are more than what they say we are. Go and look at American police or Israeli police or London police, Saudi Arabia, arresting small black kid, maybe 12 years. This is how they will be jumping like Jack and Chan to hold just small boy. And sometimes I begin to wonder, are these people this level of idiot? A 12 years old boy you will just hold by the hand and caution them as the way of our ancestors are. You see a Igbo man, we take AK-47 with tear gas. Hold him, don't move him, hold his neck, break his neck. He's holding weapon. To the extent that even somebody on black, as far as you are black, they fear you. You don't want to know why they fear you. Man only fear that which they cannot understand. They can never understand us. They have to continue fearing us. Imagine when you know this truth. Imagine when you embrace this truth. This issue of Biafra, we are not supposed to be discussing it. Onyibe ya nyoburu bi lo ha. Ya hundi wen jasin Onyibe ya lendondama. Kanono awotako. We say ewu pampa ho ya lo koko ba lora. And I hope you will understand that one day. Caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from? Caller on the line.
My journey, good evening.
Good evening. Move away from your radio, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This is Chiemere Biafra, the small miscreant. Hello?
Go ahead, the word is listening.
Okay. My journey there, I'm so grateful for the lecture and mostly of everything that you said tonight fall on my head. I've been dancing to the others from my childhood and no one showed me the normal way. But little way, one of my elders showed me before he gave up. I did not follow it up. And today the thing is affecting me. And I've been running around many places, going to places. Wherever I go, they will tell me go back to my roots. That's when I'm prepared that I should come back. So I now went back, I started practicing it. Now I see the difference. So I'm encouraging all the Biafrans, those that knows who they are and what they believe in. We are all one brothers. And we practice one thing. We all have to know that when our mind is one, the enemy will not see any little space to come in. All the Fulanis, I know that they are afraid of us, all of them. But the only thing is that they know that we can, because of little things, tell our brother. But I thank Chukwu who bring in our leader to show us the way that we will follow, and you people that are telling us what is supposed to be at the right time. And I thank you that we are following up now. Not what every other people are doing. I know that they are in this. Most of them are afraid of their life. But let them know that our ancestors, my grandfather, when I am small before he gave up, he used to pray the same prayer. Early in the morning, to wake up, to thank his ancestors, tell them that he wishes every other man good as he wishes himself. But they have to guide him and protect him in everything that he will do, that they will not allow anything bad to come close to him. And throughout his lifetime, nothing happens to him the day that he goes. Even this mortuary of a thing, when my grandfather, before he gave up, he told the sons that nobody should take him to the mortuary, that he have dropped money that we will use for the burial. And that is how exactly we do it. And I know exactly that if maybe someone now eventually do it otherwise, maybe something will happen to that. Based on what we do, we all have to go back to our root so that our land will speak for us. The God of our ancestors will speak for us, to rise for us whenever we speak. So let me give way to other people.
We must continue. Thank you. Caller on the line. Your name and where are you calling from? Caller on WhatsApp, hold on. Go ahead, good evening.
Hello, good evening, man.
Good evening from here.
Hello?
Go ahead, please. The word is listening.
Hello?
Caller on WhatsApp, are you there? Caller
Yeah, I'm here.
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Frank. I'm calling from Germany. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity to talk to our people, the people of Biafra. Let me use this privilege to thank our Supreme Leader, Mazin Africano, the Hamadike one of Biafra. Onyibe, I say, no, confirm.
No worry, my young one sobu.
Yes, Onyibe, the best thing that have ever happened to us is this back to your roots. I must tell you the truth. Today, even the pastors, even the people, the church goers, they think what we are doing on this platform is a joke. They think we are the Antichrist, because I have so many people because for me and my family, we grew up in the church, we were brought up in the church. There's nothing you will tell me about Bible, there's nothing you want to tell me about Christianity that I don't know of. Some of the people who grew up together, see share things, posting, they complain, they say, is this boy not the son of Okobi? Is this boy not that boy, that same boy in the same church? He said, this don't understand. It takes us to be Antichrist. But now, they have seen, thank God the federal government have exposed everything to them. But we are the people who is fighting for Christ, for the children of God, not the people buying private jets, riding on and Homer Jeep, collecting post money, and they call our ancestors evil. Our ancestors filled with love, filled with peace, filled with humility. These people, when in their time there was no crime, everywhere was peaceful. So it baffles me when I hear people say our ancestors, sins of your father, sins of the father. What about these Europeans who rape our fathers, rape our mothers, rape our sisters, kill so many people? They don't have sense of the fathers. They don't ancestral cause. What are we doing? We should wake up from our slumber. These people plundered our land. They steal everything. They kill our mother. They rape our fathers. They rape up to raping men. Yet they don't have ancestral cause. They don't have sense of their father. What have we done? These people, these pastors, they should give us chance. They should stop deceiving our people. They should not allow our people to wake from their slumber. We don't have anything like ancestral customs of the father. What have our fathers done? When in a time there was peace, there was no crime, nobody is killing each other. There was a man that was this to one of the professors. He said, what they call rape in our language. In those days, we don't have what they call rape. They don't have people in our land. There was no evil in our land. What's happening? Onyibe, this back to our roots. Since when the platform radio Biafra, I'm to need Joker for many years. When we moka, you hear them this platform. I'm to Amonema.
Menwa wunyo anyị wagwa akwụkwọ enyi wa ahụ were iji isi anya akpato makasa enyi wagwa akwụkwọ enyi wa ahụ ni were ije enyi igbu ala onye kwu okwu eziokwu ọnwụhụ onye tụntụ ọnwụhụ ọkama na-ekwu eziokwu enyi anwụhụ ebe ahụ kanụ wasa kagbu enyi ọrụ ese nyere atụntụ no like no ese na enyare ka mma onye ka ahụ ka ụgwọ onye ka ọ ka ụgwọ. Thank you very much, my brother.
The worst part of it all is our pastors to preach the word of God to us. They carry this New Testament. They will tell us that the old things are passed away. Whereas in the Old Testament, our culture, our tradition, everything is there. They bring this New Testament to scam us. Hey, Michael, you know, me, you be the wicked, as on I was on money by Allah. Super, I do my you don't do my cousin, and the car, do my mazuch for working for no, I will take carry Marco Moka. Oh, I
He said, thank you very much. Caller on the line. Caller on the line. Good evening from here. I will advise you to move away from your radio set.
Hello.
Caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Mazen Namdi Chineke. I'm calling from Oka.
Go ahead, my brother.
John Onyibe, I thank you for picking my call. I'm calling from Oka right now. I thank our owner, Mazen Nandekano. Our owner should take responsibility for the mindset he has given us, because he cannot just give us mindset halfway and leave us astray. Because if I go by the Bible, we have Tower of Babylon. And that Tower of Babylon makes us to know that God created us differently with our own religion, in a way, create a way that we will use to worship Him in our own way. That's why if you go to India, they worship Buddha. Go to China, they have the way they worship God. All those their cultures are spiritual. Likewise, our own forefathers. So I believe our forefathers were not wrong. If you are in Christianity, we have good Christians and bad Christians. If you're a Muslim, you have good Muslims and bad Muslims. If you're in our own father's way, we have the good ones and the bad ones. So you cannot just say our ancestors did not do right, or I believe in you, because if you go back to our way, what we are saying is, for example, now in our way now, all these bulletproofs they do in foreign countries, it's very easy for us. What is it? And the buying a campo. Our people keep it. It is good for our struggle. And a group. And man, I use the way. So you can for that kind of ranya. I know this group and where one about it. Our forefathers are good. This is what God gives them. They see it spiritual, or physical. God used that way to show them the way to follow Him. No, bro, he's not the one that we go give us. What this one we go for us is the one God gives them in their own way to worship God in their own way. That's why we are just referring to the only religion we know, Christianity, the one we know very good. If you go to other parts of the world, you see Buddhas, you see other ways people worship God. If you look very well, you see all of them worship God. That is the way God has given them to worship Him. And that is the way God gave our ancestors, the way we are worshiping our ancestors. In our own ancestors, we have people who are doing good. In our own ancestors, we have people who are doing bad. So I don't see anything wrong with our way. Our ways are good. A lot of things in our ways are good. Very spiritual. We have what we call, if you do it, as we are marching, the armies will be, a lot of things in our culture that God gave us. So we cannot just look over it. It's better open a name. We will take a mayor or three or zero people. God is we don't need buying bulletproof in our place. Our ancestors make it in a way that we can do it. We have it. If we do it in mass, we do it for our people, we do it for our soldiers, we do it for our volunteers. This is not something we start hiding. The battle is at done. So, I thank you. I thank all Biafrans. I take away human and they can. It's the person that gave us the mindset. That's why we are Igbo. We have to expand the mindset. We are not just our guy. That is why I like Radio Biafra, because it's a place you express yourself very well. It's a freedom. Freedom to do whatever you want, the way you understand it. I want to open our mind to go far more than this. Maybe as the intent of that, I want to, there are many religions, and every religion you see the good people and the bad people. So I don't see anything for you to say all our ancestors are bad. It's not like that. I don't believe in that. As your religion, thank you.
Thank you very much. The truth cannot be overemphasized. We have a father who is our father. How did he live? How did he die? It is our right to know. How did their father live? And their father before them. And then I'm not here to talk about Mary Slessor. I don't want you to teach me about Landa Brothers. You stop teaching me about William Wilberforce. Stop telling me about Mungo Park. Tell me about my father. Who they were, how they lived, and how they died. You tell me about them. Kola Waza.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening from here.
Good evening, Onyibe. Yeah, I am Jesse Precious Choma. I am calling from Obaz's zone. Obaz is in the Imo province of Biafra land. Mazi, I thank you so much for this opportunity. Your topic tonight is aware of worship. Yes, our forefathers, they were not evil. They were not, if you ask me, they were not. They worship whatever, even if they worship Amadioha, but there was sanity everywhere. There was peace. There was love, There was but today, these ones now, they are doing whatever they like, using busy touch now, a cover. Their name now is the Sorokwanum Esopalumum. That's what they are doing. I wish they would just think back, go back, and follow the ways of our forefathers when they were there, even if they are worshiping idol or Amadioha house, whatever. But things were okay. There was sanity, there was respect, there was laws. The laws of the land were very authentic. They were truthful. They loved each other. So I'm appealing to everybody, all Biafrans, to go back, as in remember how our forefathers were worshiping. Go back to that, method, so things will be okay for us. And let us leave all these Yoruba churches, Yoruba criminal churches, and all those things. Let us leave Christianity as or Seho. And we are Christians, and we are still doing evil. We are covering ourselves in evil. If you ask me, I would say, let's go. I would have loved Old Testament to come back, as in to do what we are reading. Let's just leave the Testament part. Let us go back to Old Testament, where when you sin, when someone sins, they stone that person to death. That's the way our forefathers worship then. Those things, So I will, call on our Biafran people to, embrace that religion our fathers embraced before, and they were peace. There was peace and, serenity everywhere. Thank you so much, Mazi. I still remain gracious. Yeah, just downstairs, almost at Biafra. Thank you so much.
Yes, caller on the line. Good evening. If you can hear me, move away from your radio.
Hello.
Move away from your radio.
Hello.
Move away from your radio. I don't know what is wrong with that line. Caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from? Caller on the line. Of course, we lost that caller. Caller on female line, I don't know what is going on there. Caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from?
My brother, good evening.
Good evening from here. Go ahead, please.
My brother, God bless you. I'm very happy to get you. I've been trying for long. Before I proceed, I must first of all make it known to the whole world that the bombing of White House by Osama bin Laden was supported by Nigerian government. I'm telling them, the African government, let them hear and hear it clear. Nigeria is evil. during the time Donald Trump was swearing in at Russia. These Nigerian people, they killed our people, IPOB, and destroyed the flag of United States and Israel. To see that these people doesn't love Israel and America. So I'm begging the world, please let them come and free us from this contraction called Nigeria. We are suffering. These people have been killing day in and day night. I'm using this time opportunity to thank you, my brother. I don't know that the type of man like you is in the Biafra land. Thank you. God bless you. Continue. I'm thanking our brother Mefo and then the Kamal also. Thunder and lightning. So Biafra must be restored. Before this year ending, Biafra must be restored. Please, I am advising all the members of IPOB worldwide. Let them first. Let them don't mind Asari Dugubo and the Mio and the Inuanya and the Mambezi. These people are sabotua. Let them not mind them. These people are off. There's nobody in Earth Rock. Let us march today and tomorrow and restore our Biafra. March to Earth Rock. Immediately we move there, Nigeria is false. Thank you, my brother. God bless you. I'm blessing them, Nanya. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We must continue. Are you there? Caller on the line.
Hello?
Good evening from here. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Good evening. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, I think I have an issue with this line. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I do not know why they cannot hear me, but we have to continue. And moreover, our people must understand when we talk about the art of worship which become a service to humanity. People must remain focused on our mindset. Are you there, caller on the line?
Good evening, three white men.
Good evening from here.
I'm strong. I'm strong. I say I want to say good evening. So bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry for that. Sorry for that. I wish you quick recovery. Thank you very much, Ada. Sorry for that. Yes, there are implications or indications that every man and woman who worship God in the Bible, the one who see him as Jehovah Jireh, believe wholeheartedly that God is a giver. And so he begin to worship Jehovah Jireh. And then God will not come and give peace to another one. That one will say, no, he's not a Jehovah Jireh. He's a Jehovah Shalom. He begin to worship Jehovah Shalom. Another one will come and say, no, he's a Jehovah Sikenu. He begin to worship Jehovah Sikenu. Another one will come, he's Jehovah this and Jehovah that. All of them were worshiping different God. Different God. But because it's Onyibe, you didn't see it. Our father did the same thing. Can you come out and tell me that that time they were worshiping Ekpentu? That Jehovah Rapha and Jehovah Ekpentu is different? Why do you judge what you know nothing about? Do you know that Rapha means Ekpentu in Abo language? Can you speak Abo? Do you know that Akemoho means Jehovah Rapha? And when I'm worshiping Jehovah Akemoho, you leave me alone. But whether Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Sikenu, Jehovah Amadioha, Jehovah Ekpentu, Jehovah Akemoho, all of them boils down to one thing, that we recognize one God and one God alone. He owns the heavens and the earth. Our ancestors did not please him with their lips, while their heart is far from him, but they made their act of service to become a service to humanity. Caller on the line, are you there?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
And so this truth, you must not allow it to escape you. This truth, you must live by it. This truth, you must embrace it. This truth, you must walk with it. This truth, let it guide you. This truth, let it lead you. This truth, let it free us. And in the end, the Biafra we seek for, the Biafra we fought for, the Biafra we bled for, will be restored in our time. there will be no need of raping. It's trending on social media. Oh, don't rape woman, oh. Hey, don't rape woman, oh. In the days of our ancestors, you say the evil. Who the idiot will go and rape woman? Most of you don't know. Even when I was 19 years, I still used to naked and bath in the rain. Is that when I'm going to think of raping woman? And when there are a lot of hopeless people there, defiling 4 years, 3 months baby, there is a Fulani man, or is it a Hausa man, somewhere in Nasarawa, that raped a 4 months old baby. 4 months old. I didn't say 4 years. 4 months old. The man is about 62 years. You don't do that nonsense in the days of our ancestors. Ibu Anyibui, they will give you Ibi. They will give you Ibi, advance Ainia. Then next time when you see a woman, you will understand that there is time for everything. Caller on the line. Caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Switchen Nwankwa, calling from Ngobala.
Go ahead, please.
This is Mazo Onyibe. I want to let you know that there is men on the ground. You continue with your program. We continue with your program. We are with all of you. Thank you and goodbye from here.
Thank you, my brother. And God is our weakness, and our enemy will testify to that at the right time. Men are on ground. Nigerians should get this in their head. We understand in IPOB the essence of working within the preamble of law. We understand the need to first of all activate our right to self-determination, which is exactly what we are doing here. We understand that it is our right to civil disobedience, and we will soar on the wings of civil disobedience when the time is right. We understand that our people must be awakened, spirit, body, and soul. And then we understand that in a time like that, nothing can stop us. Caller on the line, your name and where are you calling from? Caller on the line. Caller on the line. But of course, he's listening to his phone. And we are inching closer to this very segment. We are inching closer to this very segment. I want to say sincere appreciation to those of you who were able to call in. My apology to those of you who I cannot pick their call at this moment. I will be signing off, and I must apologize for some reason, duty calls. I will not be available on the second segment. But of course, as always, we will continue from tomorrow morning by the special grace of Chukwu Kikabiama. I have just called upon Biafrans wherever you are, irrespective of the religions you are affiliated to, understand that if your service, your act of worship, is not an act to service to humanity, and then you are only deceiving yourself. And you will have yourself to blame in the end. I sign off from here. Remain blessed. Remain focused.
Hey!